Just played turns 3 and 4, which was weeks 2 and 3 of July 1941. So I played 2 turns since the last video. And yeah, not a lot has changed. The line's pretty much where it was, because again, the Germans are really sort of waiting for this HQ here to become active before they can push, because everything here out of supply, because it's too far from here, and Lvov is not yet active. They're all attacking at half, and so really they don't have much of a chance. And the Soviets played a card this turn, Scorched Earth, or in fact in turn 3, Scorched Earth, which delays the countdown clocks for the Allies by 1 turn. So the Allies are still stuck on 3 to go. So basically they've just been sitting where they are and using one attack each, just where the odds seem good, supported by air. And of course turn 3 was overcast, so air activity was minimal, and turn 4 was back to clear. No movement at all down here because neither side really has any odds. These German Soviet armies here are trying to escape by going one at a time in the movement phase, but they're obviously isolated, so they're going to have to roll again. Had a very lucky lot of rolls for Soviet isolated at the start of turn 4, whichever one it was, and out of about probably 8 rolls, only one actually got a 1, 2 or 3. The Soviets have come forward out of this sort of like further away line here just to shorten the overall line, even though it does put them, because this hex behind is 6 from wherever it was there, Kiev. But this Soviet HQ here that was set up 3 turns ago is now active, but not active to be able to direct attacks this turn, because they only get assessed at the start of the German turn. But the next Soviet turn, they'll all be in supply because of this guy. And they've got a few decent armies there. I did notice one mistake I was making when I was reinforcing the Soviets. I was putting a 4-5-4 2-step on instead of putting one of those on, an untried 4-step infantry corps. So I took some stuff off and just tried to adjust it so that it seemed fair. But if anything, the Soviets probably came out slightly ahead. But yeah, but that was a mistake. Apart from that, the gameplay is going pretty easily. It doesn't take long once you've gotten the habit. I'll go down the other side, but on the way I'll just show you the air. Yeah, the air forces are really taking a hammering. The German air forces are quite considerably superior, but there's no point in not using the Russian air force. You don't get victory points for not using your air force, so they may as well get used, and the odd win they get is good. There's the Scorched Earth card, and this will be the last turn of the emergency mobilisation. That's been a really good card for the Soviets. Yeah, the Germans haven't played any of their cards yet, and they were sort of hanging on to them, waiting for the return of the HQ units and the ability to move into attack mode. So they've just been sitting there. Everyone's going to get new cards, not this coming turn, but the turn after, because it'll be the start of the last month. And here's the northern front. There's been a little bit of argy-bargy. The Axis are pushing up into here, just, you know, one turn at a time almost. And so all these guys here are isolated. And the Soviets have been trying to build armies, and this guy has been built up and moved into here just to try and stop them. And I've also been putting fortifications down. A couple more armies here the Soviets would really like. And like I said, I think I did sort of like make a mistake in terms of putting too many Soviet armies on a couple of turns ago, and I've tried to rectify it, but I don't know whether I have or not. And again here the Germans have pushed through, but then they've been stopped. And the Soviets just managed to push the Germans back because they had a unit in here, and obviously it had to retreat. Not a good dice roll for the Soviets, unfortunately. Almost anything else would have killed it, but it had to retreat too, and because it retreated through a zone of control, because having a friendly unit in a retreat hex does not mitigate the zone of control, so it lost a step. But that enabled the Soviets to put this army into here just to block that gap, because what you do find is that gaps become dangerous because units can move through them. Leg infantry, which is these guys here, not the motorized, which is the white movement. Leg infantry can't move in an enemy's, if they're in an enemy zone of control, they can't move during the what it's called, the special movement step, the first movement step. But in the actual proper movement step, they can, because you can, if there was nothing there, this guy here, the 6-4, he could move to there, because you can exit a zone of control freely, but then you must stop upon entering one. So you can move through enemy zones of control one hex in the actual movement step, even if you're leg infantry. And again, there's just been a little bit of pushing here. The Soviets treated an 8-4 out of here into here, so that isolated will come off next turn. Okay, so that's turns 3 and 4 done. Next we move into turns 5 and 6, and turn 6 will be the start of August.